Hi guys! So I'm writing a book with the help of Anza Goodbar. She's helping me with the actual writing, and Abdul. He's helping me with the cover. It is coming out July 11th, and I will share the link so that you can get your own copy. It's about study habits that you can build, and it's for middle school students specifically. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a good day. Yes, I still want to be an author, but I'm thinking about being a journalist for the news and writing about nature and how littering and pollution is killing our planet, which is not okay. And I just want to help people learn that message quicker and faster, and in my opinion, and so they can have a new perspective. And I feel like if I can do that, I can open people's eyes to see that we should add more recycling bins on walks, and we shouldn't like throw our trash in the ocean, because our ocean is where some people get their food from, and it's in a whole environment that we haven't explored that much of. So I think we should just stop littering. But I understand if you litter on accident, but like if you keep continuously doing it because you don't want to throw away your trash, I just feel like that needs to stop. Because what if microplastics start to grow into our food and then we get really sick? I just really don't want that to happen to humankind.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. I have yet another amazing young author on the podcast. Izabella is joining us today. We're going to be talking about her new book. And she, if you have a chance to meet Izabella, her smile will light up the room, just so you know. It's great to have Izabella here. Welcome, Izabella. Welcome to Living the Next Chapter. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. Izabella, how old are you for our authors that are listening and our listeners?
I'm 10 years old.
10 years old. Izabella, okay, we have to have a conversation at the beginning. I told you before we hit record, when I was 10, there was no way that I would ever written a book, just so you know. So you're my hero as we start this discussion today. I'm amazed that you can do this at 10. When did you start writing your book?
I started around like in May, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Was it? Yes, in May. And I was just so excited. And my grandma, aka my yaya, she's also a Izabella, and she was just like, you have to get all these things done by Friday. And I got them done in the first day, which, because I was just so excited to start writing, because I'm like, this is going to be a big deal. It's my first book, and it's going to help a lot of people. So it is a study guide for middle schoolers. So that was just really fun to start off with.
Okay, so you need to hold up the book again. You showed it to me already, but what's the title of the book? And let's see it. Let's see this.
So the title is When in Doubt, Don't Freak Out, a middle schooler's guide to building successful study skills.
Okay, so what was how did you get the idea to write this book?
Well, so my grandma was just like, do you want to write a book? And I'm like, sure. And we were looking through titles, and then I'm like, how about When in Doubt, Don't Freak Out, a middle schooler's guide to building successful study skills. And she's like, that's great. We'll start working.
So
really soon.
You had the title already in your head. You're just like, how about this?
Yeah.
Do you know, okay, Izabella, I have authors who come on my podcast, and it takes them forever to come up with a title for their book. And you had it like, ding, I got it. That's fast. That's very fast. Okay, so is there any tips that you can share from your book? We want everyone to buy the book, but is there some tips in there, and what kind of tips are they that can help a reader?
Well, so one of my favorite tips is actually taking deep breaths, slowing down, and taking a break. Because if you're working too hard and you're like burnt out, you're not going to get anything done. And if you do have like homework questions, they're most likely going to be wrong. And that's okay for you to get questions wrong because that's how you learn. But you want to get some of them right so that you could show your teachers that you know how to do it. So I would say take a break, slow down, take a deep breath. You have your whole afternoon to do homework. You don't have to do it as soon as you get home.
Right.
And you don't have to do it right before you go to bed. You could do it in the middle. You could do it whenever you want, whenever it feels comfortable. So if you're stressed, take a deep breath, do something that you like to do, or do something that you're really good at, and just come back to it later because you're going to feel much better.
Is there any tips in the book that are hard for you to do, and you read it and you're like, I know I wrote this book, but this one's really hard and I'm really kind of struggling with this tip? Anything that stands out?
Yeah, so there is, I don't remember what chapter it's in, but it's don't be afraid to ask for help because sometimes when I'm in class and I don't understand anything, it's kind of hard to like to talk and ask a question that your friends are next to you. Like there's like 14 other kids in the class to that are listening.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of hard to ask the question, but some of them are definitely wondering that other question too. And so you just need to go for it because it will help you. But if you really don't want to do that, you could just wait till class is over and like jot it down on a sticky note and you can ask your teacher in private if that feels more comfortable.
That's a great tip. I love that. What does it feel like? Like, what do your friends think of you as an author? Or what kind of things do they have questions for you? What do they say to you at school? That's quite unique to have somebody in my class that has a book. That's not everybody in your class has a book. So I'm sure they think and talk to you and ask you certain questions. What are they talking about?
So, since it's summer break, I haven't seen a lot of my friends, but I
Okay,
do
that's
like
right.
to call them a lot. And there's this girl, and she's very kind, and she kind of says that she's like my number one fan, and she's like, "Whoa, she's on a podcast. She wrote a book," and it's really fun because sometimes we film videos together on my YouTube, and she always says that at like the intro or the outro, and it's just really funny because she's like so hyper when she says that, and it just like makes my day because it's so kind and it's just really nice to hear.
You know what we need to do is we need to give her a shout out right now because she might hear
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, she
What do you want to say? Say hi to her. Like, come on, let's do that. So when she hears it, she's gonna go like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? Let's do
can
that.
okay, can I say her name?
Oh, please, yes.
Okay, so her name's Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
That's good. And she's your big fan. Did she get an autographed copy of the book?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. I love it. So, Katie, thank you for listening to the podcast, and make sure you share this episode with everyone at school for sure. Okay, so if I was your teacher in school and I was teaching writing or English or something, and you walked into my class as an author, I don't know what as a teacher, as an adult, I don't know what I would do with you because you could teach the class. Like you're a writer. And then if comes time to read the book of the day that you want to read at your desk, you could just reach into your bag and pull out your own book. Like who gets to do that, right? So do you think the teacher's going to treat you a little bit differently now that you're an author?
Well, I maybe because my teachers at school are very kind and they don't really like point out that they have favorites. So I think maybe she'll just say like good job or he'll just say good job. Since I am going into middle school, it's a different place. So I honestly don't really know.
Hmm. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And the one thing I want to encourage you, Isabella, is to be proud of what you've done because not everyone does this. So it's not like you're bragging that you're an author, but you should be proud that you've done something amazing and maybe inspire somebody else to write. You know, it might be a different type of book, but maybe they'll look at you and go, well, Isabella did it. I can do this. And you can
Mhm.
help them. Right.
Yeah.
That's a great thing is you can help somebody else to become an author as well. And you're 10. So, you
Mhm.
have a whole lifetime ahead of you to write more books. What's the next book you're going to write about? What do you think you're going to do next?
So I really want to write a confidence book for young girls because
Wow.
society has picked a bunch of things that make a girl's body beautiful and ugly, which is not true because you're beautiful no matter what society says.
Wow.
And the beauty standards change like 24/7. So don't listen to them because it's just not livable. And next week, who knows? It could be that you have to be as thin as like a plank or something.
Yeah.
But the next week, it could be you have to be thick or something.
Yeah.
So it's just not livable. So don't even listen to them.
So have you started writing this book already?
No, I
Thinking
have
about
not.
it? You're
Yeah.
thinking about it though, right? Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. And I love that you're doing that to help women and girls to understand that the beauty comes from who you are, right? Not what we see.
Hmm.
And like I said,
Hmm.
when I first met you, I just met you today. And my first thing I noticed again was your beautiful smile, that you're happy, you're smart, you care, and you have a message for the world. And that's all we need, right? Everything else is extra. It's the person on the inside that's the most important thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have dreams for your future as far as when you're an adult and after school's all done? Do you have a path kind of laid out right now that you're thinking about where you want to end up?
Yes, I still want to be an author, but I'm thinking about being a journalist for the news and writing about nature and how littering and pollution is killing our planet, which is not okay. And I just want to help people learn that message quicker and faster. And in my opinion, and so they can have a new perspective. And I feel like if I can do that, I can open people's eyes to see that we should add more recycling bins on walks and we shouldn't like throw our trash in the ocean because our ocean is where some people get their food from
Right.
and it's in a whole environment that we haven't explored that much of. So I think we should just stop littering. But I understand if you litter on accident, but like if you keep continuously doing it because you don't want to throw away your trash, I just feel like that needs to stop because
Hmm.
what if microplastics start to grow into our food and then we get really sick? I just really don't want that to happen to humankind.
Isabella, you're going to help so many people with your message and who you are and what you're passionate about. There are people that need to hear your message. And that's why I love having people like you come on the podcast because now I don't know if you know this, but I have a global audience of people listening around the world to our podcast. And there's going to be people hearing your voice in Australia and Iceland and Kuwait and Israel. Like people are going to be hearing you and for the first time and listening to your message. So for a global audience outside of the US and Canada, well, I'm in Canada, what would you like to say to the world that's listening? Now you get to talk to the entire world, which is amazing. So being around being good to the environment, what would you say to the world that's listening?
I would say two things. The first thing is don't listen to society. And I love this quote. I don't know who it's by, but it's you're not ugly. We just live in a judgmental society.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is love everybody that's in your life and forgive who have hurt you and don't hold grudges because those people won't be there forever with you. So like take pictures of everything, hug who you hug, say that you want to say, do what you want to do cuz like nobody makes it out of life alive. So I
Hmm.
think just live. That's what I want to say.
Okay, Isabella, who would you love to meet in life?
I
Who do you look up to? Who is like some person? If you had 5 or 10 minutes to sit down with them, you feel like that could that could really have a big impact on your life, who would you love to meet?
I would love to meet Oprah Winfrey because she's very positive, and I just really want to meet her because I think that she says amazing stuff.
Okay, who else? Because you never know who's going to hear this podcast. Just saying, who else would you like to meet?
I would love to meet John Maxwell because he has a lot of positive books that I love to read, and my favorite book by him is probably Make Today Count.
Nice. What about any kind of like musician or movie star, anybody that's really prominent in the world? Would you like to meet somebody like that?
I think I would like to meet Ava Max because I really like her singing voice, and I think her songs are very powerful.
Amazing. You know that someday, Izabella, somebody's going to say the same thing about you. They're going to be on a podcast talking about this great author that they read their book, and I would love to meet Izabella someday. So, for your friends and family that are listening to our podcast, what do you want to say to your really close friends and family to say thank you for all their support as you've been writing your book?
I would say thank you to my grandma. She basically helped me with everything for this book. She helped me send back what I liked and didn't like about the cover. And she helped me format basically everything. And it was just so amazing. And for my close friends, I would say thank you for supporting me and saying things that like you could do this because sometimes life just kind of isn't the most positive place. And my friends and family kind of just helped me realize that I could make it positive and it's all my mindset and my, not the world's perspective that makes it negative. It's mine.
Isabella, again, I said at the beginning, when I was 10, I was not as confident as you are. I was not as thoughtful as you are. You are on a great path in life. And you have, again, so many great days ahead of you, years and years and years ahead of you, where you're going to help change not only people's minds and help people become more environmentally friendly and help each other and body image. You're going to help so many people with your words. And I hope that it's not just this book, it's not just the next book, but all of the things you do in life. And as you have this platform now to talk to people because you have a book, that you can share your message and help many people. So I'm thrilled to have you on my podcast, just so you know. This makes me so happy to have you here. And when I saw the email come in that I had a chance to talk to you, I didn't even hesitate. I wanted to talk to you right away because you're doing something great. And I just want to encourage you as a Canadian here in Canada, cheering you on. I can't wait to tell people about you and send people to your book. And I know you're going to help many, many people. It's really, really great.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Okay, so Izabella, how do people connect with you? Where do they buy the book? Can you fill us in on that information as well?
Yes. So you can buy the book on Amazon, but if you don't have the Amazon app or something, you could just search up izzywhitney.com and my website will pop up and there's a little link that goes to Amazon and then you can buy my book. And you can also connect with me on my Instagram, my website, and my YouTube. And my Instagram is I am Izzy Whitney, and my YouTube is Izzy Whitney, and my website is izzywhitney.com.
Okay. Again, we didn't have the internet when I was 10. We didn't have websites. We didn't have YouTube when I was 10, just so you know. So now I'm feeling really, really old. But the fact that you have all that lined up already that's amazing, Isabel. I'm so impressed. I don't even know what to say. So everyone will have links to everything that Isabella's been talking about in the show notes. So you can click right there and go. Do you have more podcasts coming up, Isabella, that you're going to be coming on?
I believe so. And I think I'm going to be on my grandma's podcast, but I don't really know.
Nice. Okay. Well, again, you have me speechless. I am so excited to have you on my show. I'm so excited for people to meet you. And I can't wait for you to sell a ton of books and then get back to writing the next one because, again, I'm excited to see that one come out. Would you come back and talk about the next book when that comes out?
Of course. I would love to be on your podcast again.
Come on. All right. Okay. We'll just keep the door open. You can come back anytime you want. All right.
Okay.
I love it. Everyone, that's the information for today. Everything's in the show notes. Izabella, thank you for being on Living the Next Chapter. Keep going. I'm so proud to know you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, everyone, go check out the show notes. Go support Izabella. This is amazing. I'm going to go check out all of her stuff today. Thanks, Izabella. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Awesome. Thanks for checking out Living the Next Chapter. Happy to have you here. And here at the end, I want to just put this shout out to authors listening. If you want to sell more books, if you want to build community, one of the best ways you can do that is by guesting on podcasts and or having your own podcast. So I have a podcast called the How to Podcast series, and I help people start podcasts. I also do editing. I also help with social media, website design. I do all those things in addition to being the host of this podcast and the 6 other podcasts that I do, including How to Podcast series. I think you would be the perfect person to start a podcast. I would love to help you. Head over to howtopodcast.ca, howtopodcast.ca. Reach out, let me know if you're interested in starting a podcast, and I want to work with you. Thanks for listening to Living the Next Chapter. Catch you on the next one. Take care.
Mindshift Power Podcast, the podcast for teenagers and those who work with them. There's a huge problem in America today. There's a very large disconnect between teenagers and the adults who work with them. I'm looking to bridge that gap with real, raw, honest conversation, not held back by the chains of political correctness. You cannot solve a problem you do not understand. Want to understand teenagers today? Listen to this podcast. This podcast is for teens in the U.S. and Canada. To learn more, go to fatimabay.com/podcast or just look for Mindshift Power Podcast on any listening platform. I look forward to you being a faithful listener.